Thanks, Colin. I'm going to get out from behind the podium. Again, my name is Will Newman. Catharine, my wife, are equal parts honored and terrified to be leading Stewardship. This is a big role, but we are so grateful to just be part of a wonderful congregation that is so incredibly supportive of St. George's. I'm going to first begin just doing a little bit of education for maybe some others who are not familiar with pledging. We use this opportunity to receive pledges so that our church leadership and vestry clergy can start budgeting for 22. Just like my business and your household has a budget, our church needs a budget as well. And so it's critical that we support those decisions and resource allocation by giving those pledges. One of the things I want to debunk is a myth that might persist at St. George's, that we have a benevolent benefactor that takes care of all the bills. As much as how cool that would be, our church is made up of several hundred families that are pledging and giving, sacrificial giving each year. And we're so incredibly grateful for that continued support. So thank you for those gifts. Second, we as a church are facing what many churches are facing, and that is a demographic reckoning. 3 years ago, 55 and up, 55% of our pledged dollars came from 55 and up. 2020, 55 and up represents 70% of our pledged dollars. That is a trend that is not sustainable. So I believe what I've heard from the vestry and from other leaders, and why I'm standing in front of you today most likely, is to appeal to the 30s and 40s families that we as a demographic need to make sure we are pulling our weight within the church community. So I'm going to share just my journey, our family's journey on pledging. Catherine and I have been members here since 2010. We've been pledging for about 9 years. Previous to that, we just kind of gave very haphazardly. There was very little intent to our giving. And we, $20 here, maybe a check or two here and there. And then one year we felt the call, we felt the tug. And we committed together as a family to begin pledging. And the most interesting thing happened. Nobody at the church treated us differently. The clergy didn't treat us differently, but something happened to our hearts when we made that commitment to our church. We felt deeply rooted, deeply committed, and just incredibly ingrained with that church community. I can't speak to exactly what that was, but it was something that we've always felt and we've always remembered. And so my experience with giving and giving back to the church is, I think, a lot of maybe similar people's experiences in going to the gym for the first time. When you go to the gym for the first time, it's a little bit scary. You're seeing equipment that you're not sure how you use it, and you're scared how you're going to feel afterward, right? Because you're going to be sore. But you know deep down that if you do this regularly, you're going to feel better, you'll get stronger, and you'll be able to, your muscles will start coming in, and your whole life potentially just increases from those benefits. And in our experience, giving was a lot like that. It was a little bit scary at first. We weren't sure how it was going to feel. And to be frank, in those first couple of years, it probably stung a little bit too, because we weren't used to those commitments to the church. But as we've grown as a family, that giving muscle has grown stronger and stronger. And as we look to decide on our family how much we give, the question that we've come to ask ourselves is, this financial gift that we're giving back to our church and to God, does it reflect how we feel about this church and our relationship with God? And so my challenge to the congregation is, for those families who may not be pledging, is to have the conversation at home, have the conversation with your spouse, your children, and just talk about pledging, talking about giving back to our church community and what that may mean for your family. So I'll end with just a quick story. 18 months ago, the pandemic came roaring into my industry. For those who don't know, we own Edley's Barbecue. And being a restaurant owner at that time was incredibly, incredibly scary. And I was, frankly, I was terrified we were going to lose our business. One morning I felt called to come to St. George's, I came to the chapel because I needed something more than just my prayers and my pleas for guidance, and came to the chapel and knelt and prayed and cried and prayed and cried some more. And then that time, I walked out taller, my chest out, and God had given me I was asking for courage, strength, and wisdom to see this through, and God answered those prayers. And I tell you that story because that chapel was open in the early morning, and somebody's pledge made that possible. And for that, I'm so grateful. Again, I want to thank all the several hundred families that continue to support St. George's generously. Thank you so much. It means so much to our clergy and our leaders to know that we have that support. Again, thank you for your time, and thanks.